machine translation, for doing speech recognition, all these kinds of things. Okay. So, does anyone remember the Markov assumption that we discussed in the Bayesian net? So, what does Markov assumption meant? That we have seen that
The current state only depends on the previous state.
yes, the current state is only dependent on the previous state. So, the idea is that in a network or in a sequence, theoretically, the current state is dependent on all the previous state, but for our calculation, we make an assumption that the current state is only dependent on the previous state, and we have seen as as a result of that assumption, we can still model the probability over the entire network or the entire sequence by only multiplying the local conditional probabilities, and we did not need to calculate all these joint probability distributions. So that reduces our computational complexity and time complexity and space complexity significantly. So now we have learned about this Markov assumption. Now where does this Markov model come from? So Markov models is basically a set of states. Okay, Achha, let me see. Uh, I will shuffle between two slides, and I will also upload the slides just for your reference. So set of states. Say I have n states. Just for the time being, think like uh, those who have done automata. Do you know? Have you heard? Have you done this automata theory or something like that? Yes, no? Okay. So these set of states are nothing like this. Just think it like this. Okay. This is each state is the like this round state, and there is a state transition. Like from S1 we go to S2, from S2 we go to S3, and so on to SS. Okay. So there are n states. And the process, like whatever process or whatever phenomena we are modeling with this state, moves from one state to another, and it generates a sequence of state. Okay. uh, so like first say like I am moving, say these are my, so this is the sequence of state. Say I am modeling a process which is moving like this: S1, S2, S3, S5, it may not go to S4. So we have a possible set of state, and the process moves from one state to another state. The Markov chain property, and that's why these are called the Markov model, is that each subsequent state depends only on what was the previous state. So as you can see, if a process moves through a set of states sequentially like this, so then ideally this state 3 is dependent on both the state 1 and 2, but by Markov assumption we say that the state 3 is dependent only on state 2. So state K ideally theoretically it depends on all the other states from 1 to K minus 1, but for Markov assumption we assume, or in the Markov chain the property is the state K is dependent only on the state K minus 1. So for a Markov model, how do we define Markov model? There are two main probabilities that we define. First is the state transition probability, which is defined as Aij, which is the probability of going to state I given that I am at state J. or put it in this way, which is a probability that my present state is Si given my previous state is Sj. That is transition from Sj to Si. And the initial probability that which is denoted as pi I, which is the probability that the state I will act as the start state. Because see, if we have a sequence, we need two things for any sequence: the starting point of the sequence and the transitions of the sequence. So the transition is defined by this probability notation, and the starting point is defined by this. Okay. Now let us see an example. Say for example, we have two states, like in a weather, we have two states, rain and dry. So there are how many transitions, and the Markov chain is constructed like this. Rain can say from rain, the next day can be dry, or the next day can be rain again. From dry, the next day can be rain, or the next day can be dry again. So for each, so we have two states, rain and dry. Now for each state, there are two probabilities that rain to rain. So given the current state is rain, the next state will be rain. That is 0.03, and given the current state is rain, the next state will be dry is 0.7. Okay, so this is defined. This is just a very crude example. So similarly, this 0.8 is the transition probability from dry to dry, and this 0.2 is transition probability from dry to rain. And so we got all the AIJs. Now we need two initial probability. That is, what is the chance that rain is my start state, and what is the chance that dry is my start state. Now another thing, like if you see these state transition probabilities from rain, these 0.3 and 0.7, these 0.3 and 0.7, they both add up to 1, and the state transition probability from dry 0.8 to 0.2, they also both add up to 1, because for each state there are only two probabilities, that means two possibilities, and we know the sum of the probabilities of all possible events are always 1. Similarly, as there are two states, you can see the sum of the two initial probabilities are also 1. Now let me go into another slide. This slide is better. I just wanted to refer to that for the example. Now, that was the Markov model, of which we saw the example, rain and dry. Achha, okay, just let me know. Wherever you are having any doubt, please let me know. So now, if you recall, our original term was hidden Markov model, or the short form is the HMM. So what is hidden? Why hidden? So if you see, this is a difference from the state sequence that we drew in the past slide. The past slide, we only have this portion. We only have this part, like from state 1 to state 2 to state 3, and going to say like state K, this path. And all those states were observable state. But in hidden Markov model, what do we assume? We assume that my states are hidden. Just hold this for a moment. my states are hidden. I will tell what does that mean. And each state depends only on the past state, and it is independent of the future state. That means this state, the probability of this state is conditional only respect to this state, but is independent of the next state, like we have described. Okay. So now, why are we saying these are hidden states? Because in hidden Markov model, what we assume that we cannot actually observe the state. Each state produce some outputs. Say this state produces this output, which is the partial, which is represented by this purple circle, and this state moves on to the next state. Now this next state again produces some output. So these are called the observations. So we can only see these observations, but not actually the states themselves. Say for example, when we are doing a like speech recognition model, what is our observation? The phonemes or the utterances. So these are our observations. But actually, how the phonemes are generated from one state to another, that is my set of hidden state. Okay. That is why we model it with the hidden Markov model. So these purple nodes are dependent only on their corresponding hidden state and not dependent on each other. Okay. So this is the difference. This is my Markov model, that is a set of state transition and initial probabilities. From that we are moving to the hidden Markov model, which is a set of hidden state and a set of observed state. Okay. So this is now how we write it with the mathematical notation. So this part is same, like we have a set of states which are the values for the hidden state, like set of n states, s1, s2, s3, so on, sn. And we have a set of k observations. K also range from 1 to m, because every state may or may not produce an observation. So ideally it does for our calculation. So now with a set of states, like as we have seen in the Markov models or the belief net, we also have a set of observations. Okay. So state S and K, and this pi A and B are three transition probabilities. So what are the three transition probabilities? We know that pi is nothing but the initial state probabilities, like which state serves as the initial state and which probability. So generally for practical application, we have this state very limited, because theoretically each state can be an initial state with a very low probability, but practically this state is limited. And the AIJ we have just seen at the state transition probabilities, like from to move from state J to state I, and VIK are now the new probabilities that a state I will produce an observation K. Okay. So these five, this quintuple define the hidden Markov model. Set of states, set of hidden states, set of observed states, set of initial state probabilities, set of state transition probability, and state of observed state probabilities. Any question till now? Any question? Okay, so let me. So I guess people are listening, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. It is very reassuring. That okay. So how do like so what kind of inferences we drew on an the HMM or what kind of problems are there? So there can be three types of problem situation or the derivations or the inferences that we can draw in an HMM. The first one is that compute the probability of a given observation sequence. That means we are given a observation state sequence. Say for example, K1, K2 to Kj. These are my sequential observations. Like we have this sequence of this particle things given, and we need to find the probability that there will be a set of state in sequence which will uh, generate this sequence of observations. We will come to the mathematical notations next. Second problem is that given an observation sequence, compute the most likely hidden state sequence. This is like we have the observation sequence given. We now have to find that what are the state sequences and the most likely state sequence behind every observation. So actually these two looks very similar, but these are different. And the third is given an observation sequence, set of possible models. So see, in the first one, we have uh, okay, let me rephrase. If you notice that every inference is drawn on a given observation sequence, because as I have mentioned, we can only observe these observed states. That's why they are called the observed states. So in some books you will see they are denoted as capital O. Here this is written as K, but in some these are defined as O. Okay, O for observation. So we can only see the observation sequence. So in this case, we assume that we also have information that the probability of some hidden state sequences, and we can just compute the probabilities like how each hidden state produce an observation and can compute the total probability. In this case, there are multiple sequence of states which can produce the observation and we do not know. So we need to find the most likely sequence of states which will produce the given observation. And this third case, we do not even have the model. The model can be like we do not even know what are the some possible hidden states or the other model parameters. So we have to build the whole most likely models like all the hidden state, state transition probabilities, state initial probabilities with this from the given observation sequence. And as you may have noticed that these three are also kind of like ordered in their uh, like with respect to the increasing complexity or the difficulty. So there is something that we call decoding in a Markov model. See, again, as I said, till now it was K, but now it is tends to O, the observed state sequence. So, given like the first one, compute the probability of a given observation sequence. This is also called the decoding in a hidden Markov model. That given an observation sequence, And we are also given the model, like we are also given all the 5 model parameters, model details. We need to compute the probability of the observation sequence. So we have this. This is my observation sequence, say O, O1 to OT, and this is my model given. Basically, my model means 3 sets of probability distribution. That is the most important thing that we need, right? The state transition, the initial probabilities, and the observation of the output probabilities. So we need to compute P of O, that is P of the observation, so probability of the observation sequence given the model. Clear till this point?
Yes, ma'am.
So I will again advise that please also write in pen and paper. It will just help you to remember more, because hidden Markov model you will encounter a number of times, and you know, in many practical cases it is not always feasible to deploy a deep learning model, or when you are working with a real use case, most of the time it is a necessity to generate a quick benchmark. Benchmark means that I will do classification with deep neural nets, but before that I need to have the classification results from, sorry, not benchmark, the baseline. I need to have the classification result from this from some naive base or decision tree or support vector machine, because then only I can say that this is my baseline performance, and using a complex model gives me this advantage or this significant increase in my model's performance. So similarly, in many cases, we need to establish a baseline with HMM or with similar, like there is a similar sequential model called conditional random fields with this kind of thing. So how do we do decoding? Just a second. Okay, so this one we can break it down to 3 things, like probability of the observed sequence given a particular state sequence and mu. So state sequence is like x1, x2, dot dot dot, xt, x capital T. So this is basically, if my state sequence is given, then this probability is nothing but the multiplication of all these, like this bx1, so O1, like what is the probability that x1 will generate O1, what is the probability that x2 will generate O2, what is the probability that xc will generate OT, what is the probability that x capital T will generate O capital T. And as these all probabilities are conditionally independent, we will just multiply them. So if I need to compute the probability of a given output sequence or an observed sequence, when my state sequence and the model parameter is known, this is my probability. Now, how do I know this? Because these probabilities again dependent on the probability of the state sequence. Now, if I break this part, so my probability of state sequence given a model is what? The probability that x1 will be my start state into all the state transition probabilities, that what is the probability that x2, like from x1 the next state will be x2, from x2 the next state will be x3, and so on. So basically my probability of the given output sequence, when we have, see here there is no x, so we have an output sequence, and we have the model parameter. So we compute, how do we compute the probability of the given output sequence? We first, like it is kind of the Bayes theorem. We try to find that what will maximize the output sequence given a state sequence. Then we make like output sequence given a particular state sequence and the probability of the particular state sequence, then the model parameters. So actually, to summarize, the idea is that in this decoding problem, we have all the transitional probability known. The transitional probabilities are known means I know which state is most likely to come after which state. That means I also know the possible state sequences. The initial probabilities are known and also the observed state probabilities are known. We need to compute the probability of the given observed sequence. Okay. So this is the first problem of or the first inference on in an hidden Markov model. So clear till this point?
Yes.
Yes. So now we need to iterate it over all possible state combinations. Like this is my one set of state probability, right? One set of hidden state probability. So now it is sum over all the possible type of hidden state probability, uh, which generates the given output sequence. I am not going into it. So okay, so basically if we break it down, see, so what are these x given mu? X given mu is nothing but the initial state probability into the state transition probability, and this one P of O given x comma mu is nothing but the multiplication of the observed state probabilities. So now if I break it down, this actually becomes this summation over, like for each case, each x1, each state, given that this state is the initial state, and all the like then from initial state to the first output probability, all the transition probability and the like and into sum of all the transition probability into the observed probability, right? So this is an whole unit. Okay, so the probability of coming to this state into probability that this state will result to this output. This for all the state except for the first one, and for first one we have the initial state probability into the probability that this state will result in this output. This is what we need to find, or we need to optimize on for all the state combination. Right? So this is my decoding. So generally, let me see what I want to describe. Okay, I will just mention. So this is done. Like now the question is that how do we find this? This is we just cannot find like at one state because there are lots of conditional probability transitions which are involved and over all possible state combination. So it is done via dynamic programming because we know that each state is only dependent on the previous state, and if you see the model also forwards incrementally, that only when we come to xt we need to calculate xt plus 1. Okay, so this is done. So there is one procedure which is called the forward procedure. What it does is that basically the intuitive idea is that if we know the probability till xt, we can we assume that we know all the probabilities are same till xt. So say at time step t, we know that all the probabilities are same till state t. We just calculate the probability of t plus 1. The state t plus 1, like from the next state to be t plus 1, and it to be generating the observation o t plus 1. Okay. That means we are moving forward one step at a time. So when we start with x1, we basically calculate this probability, the initial state probability and the observed state probability from x1. Then we go from x1, we assume that okay, now these all the initial state probabilities are like all these initial state probabilities into the observed state 1 are same. What is now my probability on going to the x2? Okay, this is called the forward procedures because we are moving forward in time. I'm not. There is another thing that is called the backward procedures. We say basically it is opposite of the forward one. So we move kind of backward in time. So we say that the probability of the rest of the states, it gives us back the probability of the first state. So at each state, so say like if we have till t plus 1 from capital T to t plus 1, we try to find what will be the probability of xt. Now, as you can understand, we do not have the transition probability of xt plus 1 to xt because our Markov assumption is only one directional. So, we derive the probability of being xt given that my next state was xt plus 1 from this forward transition probability only. So that is why if you see like it contains both the forward transition probability and the backward variable beta. Okay, two intuitive thing: forward search, forward procedure, backward procedure, and in most of the cases we do it from both direction. That it's called the combination. So this is the solution to the decoding problem. Any question till now? I haven't gone into the mathematics of the decoding problem in detail, but this any question till now? Is everyone asleep or left the computer? Hello.
Ma'am, we are listening.
Okay. Thank you. Now, the most commonly used algorithm of hidden Markov model, which is known as the Viterbi algorithm. So if you now, I am again going back to the second problem. So decoding was my first problem. This one, compute the probability of a given observation sequence. What was my second problem? Given an observation sequence, I need to compute the most likely hidden state sequence. That is, I know my observation sequence is given, that is known. Now, I need to calculate that which are the most likely sequence of states to generate this given observation. See, in the first case, I was calculating the probability of the observation sequence itself. In this, I have the observation sequence. I am calculating the probability of the state sequence. And this is done by something called the Viterbi algorithm, and it is well known because it is what we do in many practical problems. See, in speech recognition, we know the observed state. What we try to find, what will be the best possible state sequence to generate the set of observation. So find the state sequence that best explain the observations. So basically it is P of x given O and argmax on x. That means we need to find all the state probability, state sequence probability given an observation sequence probability, and we need to find the maximum over this state sequence probabilities. Okay. So here we again have a new parameter, we define a variable called delta in this way. See, it is my state j at time step t. So delta j_t is defined as the maximum over x1 to xt minus 1. That means I am at time step t. So all the previous time steps starting from the initial state p of x to xt minus 1, that is probability of x to xt minus 1, comma probability of O1 to OT minus 1, that is the probability of the hidden state sequence and observed state sequence, and xt equals to j and ot. That means this variable is defined as the joint probability of the state sequence says up to time t minus 1, observation sequence up to time t minus 1, the probability that the current state will be j, and the probability that the current observation will be O, and maximum of all the combinations. Okay. So this is calculated at each time step. So basically what it calculates is that given my current state is j and my observation is OT at time step t, I need to find the maximum, like I need to maximize the probability of state sequences up to t minus 1 that results in my state t and observation j. So the state sequence which maximizes the probability of seeing the observations to time t minus 1, which lands in state j and seeing the observation at time t. So this is when we know the observation sequence. Just sorry for the shouting. So when we know the observation sequence and we try to find the best possible state sequence that will result into the observation. Okay, and this calculation of Viterbi is the recursive computation which at each step is requires to maximize like the state j and also the sequence of the state of the observation. Not going into this. And the third problem that we had is that we only know the observation and we need to find the whole model. This is called the parameter estimation, because now we do not have any information about the model, like what are the possible set of state, what are the state transition probability, what are the state initial probabilities, and this So we need to find all the variables like capital S, set of state, set of initial probabilities, set of state transition probabilities, and set of observed state probabilities. So as you can understand, there is no analytical model. We given a model, so we assume a model and the observation sequence, and we update the model parameters at each time step to better fit the observation. Okay, so it is pretty complex. So with hidden Markov model, we used to do like this, the n-gram language models, like the sequence of words that can be generated by training of probability over a large text corpus. You have seen this post like statistical poetry generation, statistical story generation, like so the machine learning model is trained on a large text corpus or a large poetry corpus, and it can write poetry on its own. So how does it write poetry on its own? Like basically at each time step it assumes it compute nothing but the Markov sequences. Okay. For speech tagging, for part of speech tagging, we used to use hidden Markov model, and for speech recognition, as I said. And as we have a very special structure of this model, because you can see that each state is only dependent on the previous state. Each state results into a distinct observation, and these observations are again independent of each other. So with this hidden Markov model structure, we can solve a lot of problem like sequential or the dependency problem, which we cannot solve otherwise. So any question till now? I know this was a bit complex, so any question till now? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, so this is just an example how we can move from this Markov model to like, so this was our first Markov model where the state are observable. Now the same corresponding hidden Markov model example, say actually I have two hidden states, humidity high or temperature high and humidity low or temperature low. But we cannot observe that. What we can observe, whether it rains or it a dry weather. So these are my hidden state and these are my observed state. So as you can see, the hidden state, they have the probability transitions or state transition probabilities among themselves, but the observed states are conditionally independent of each other and only dependent on their corresponding hidden state. Okay. So with that, I will stop here. The torture session ends. Any question?